things that we say we want, that we say we know are meant for us, and then if you watch us in action, you see inaction. No action. It takes vigilance. Every one of us in this room really wants to be free. We want to be free of our erroneous beliefs because they are the only things that seem to be binding us, holding us down, keeping us back. They're the only things that are truly blocking us from being able to experience joy that goes through every cell of our body, any moment of any time, given any condition that outpresses in our lives. We really do not know yet that our happiness fully and completely depends on our embodying these truth principles that we have the gift of sharing and deepening as we join together. If we really knew that we knew that we knew that we knew that taking on a complete, unshakable identity as a child of God would give us all the peace we've ever needed, give us all the joy we've ever wanted, give us all the love we've ever hoped for and imagined possible, then we perhaps would not just find ourselves saying, above anything, I want to be free. And hearing Johnny go, anything but practice. It's about practicing these principles. The fifth principle is knowing the truth. Knowing these principles is not enough. We must embody them. We must become them. And we must do it, once again, returning to the words of Jesus, we must do it with all of our heart, all of our soul, all of our mind, and all of our strength. That's what it takes. We can't do it half-stepping. We can't do it by joining together on Sundays and maybe going to A Course in Miracles in the midweek and maybe taking David's class and maybe taking Shawn's class and then the rest of the time just chilling, watching TV and talking crap. We can't get there that way. We get there through passionate devotion, through proceeding with passion, putting one foot in front of another, knowing that where we're headed is to a place of peace, and that without being there, we have no peace. There was a student once that told his master, Master, I've been at this spiritual thing for a long time. Master, I've been at Unity now for 15 years. I've done the 4 T's. I've taken the basic metaphysical classes. I've done everything. I've read all the books in the bookstore, listened to all the tapes. But I don't understand. I still don't have happiness. I still don't have joy. I still don't have peace. These teachings are still not in me. I'm giving it all my attention. I don't understand what's wrong. The master said, come, student, let's go to the river. You need to be baptized. He took a student to the river and said, get on your knees. They got into the river on their knees, and the water was about up to their chest. The master reached out and grabbed the student's head, and he began to immerse the student slowly under the water. And the student's heart was glad. Hallelujah, the student said. The only thing I needed was a baptism. I did the 4 T's. I did the classes. I went to the summer retreat and the winter retreat. I did David's process for working with my thoughts. I did it all. The missing link was a baptism. Who'd have thought? And he's thinking that and going underwater. After a while he notices, wow, I've been under here for a while. How long could a baptism take? I thought it was a quick dunk and back out and I'm brand new. But he noticed that the hands of the master were still on his head and he was still underwater, and he was going, wow, I hope the master knows, that being an enlightened being, that I can probably only hold my breath for about another 30 seconds, 40 max. And so the master keeps his head and he's going, oh my God, I'm at the end of being able to hold my breath. So he says, well, maybe the master's fallen into meditation. Maybe I should just give a little nudge. And he starts coming up on his knees and pushing his head up. But when he pushes his head up, the master pushes his head down. And he's down there and his lungs are about to burst and he's going, what is going on? What's with the master? So he decides he better shove a little harder. He shoves a little harder and the master shoves a little harder, keeping him under the water. And finally he realizes, I'm going to die if I do not get out of this water, because I'm about to have to suck in a big lungs full of water. So he reaches up and grabs the master's wrists, and he tries to pry it, and with all in him, he jerks those hands off his head, and he comes up out of the water, spitting and breathing and gasping in the life that is in breath, the life that is in oxygen, something we take for granted. I've said to people before, I heard it from a movie and don't remember what the movie is, but the line in the movie was, freedom is like oxygen. Those who have it barely even notice, but those who don't are dying for lack of it. He got out of that water and took a deep breath. And he looked at the master and he said, I don't get you. I thought you were kind and loving. What do you think you were doing? You almost drowned me. Do you know how long you had me under that water? Do you know that I was about to suck it in? Do you know you almost drowned me? Do you know that it took everything I had to get your hands off of my head and pry your wrists and get out of that water? The master said, I know. It took everything you had to get up out of that water. When you want to be free in a way that these unity principles can make you free, when you want to be whole the way you say you want to be whole, when you want to overcome your grievances, when you want to be so strong in a sense of self that it doesn't matter what other people think about you, they cannot shake you. Do you want to be like a tree planted by the living waters of life that cannot be moved, rather than being like a reed shaking in the wind? The master said, you have to want it as much as you wanted breath. You have to want it as much as you wanted to get out of that water. You have to want it as much as you want to be alive. In other words, you have to proceed with passion. No matter what happens in your life, no matter how devastating, no matter how scary, no matter how hurtful, you need to proceed with passion. Give it all of your heart. Give it all of your soul. Give it all of your mind. And give it all of your strength. This is how the universe finds out whether or not you and I are serious. We say we want to fully realize the presence of Christ within us. That we want to fully manifest our divinity. And the universe says, prove it. Prove it. Prove it. Don't just say it. Prove it. So this is our proving ground. Life on planet Earth. Your life just as it is. Yours just as it is. Yours just as it is. Every one of you, your life just as it is, with the people in it being exactly who they are. Whether they're an acting out teenager, an acting out mother, an acting out boss, an acting out spouse, your life just as it is your proving ground. You say you want to be stronger than dirt? Prove it. You say you want to be stronger than your circumstances? Prove it. You say you want to be like a tree that cannot be moved by the winds of change, the winds of trial, the winds of tribulation? Well, doggone it, prove it. Practice the presence, even when it's hard to do.